Today we're going to be talking about Psalm 11 and how we can respond to fear with faith. This psalm is one of the 73 psalms written by King David, and scholars say that he may have written this psalm while being hunted by Saul in 1 Samuel chapter 18, or during the days of Absalom's rebellion in 2 Samuel chapter 15. Both instances where David fled, but not as if all were lost. David seems to be speaking to those advising him to run away from his enemies who are trying to strike down the righteous, and that the most strategic thing to do as king is to flee like a bird from your mountain, as said in verse 1. Because when sensing fear and danger, birds fly away, typically to someplace high. It may appear that David's advisors have the best of intentions, but David wasn't ready to run from the adversity. He made his position clear that he was going to put his faith in the strength of God. He wrote, "The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes observe everyone on earth." David's faith contrasts dramatically with the fear of his advisors who tell him to flee. Being God's anointed king did not make David immune to injustice and hatred from others. But David was comforted and optimistic because he knew God was greater than anything his enemies could bring against him. David's strength in the Lord is something he even established in earlier chapters. In Psalm chapter 7 verse 10, David writes, "My shield is God Most High." David even opens this chapter stating, "In the Lord I take refuge." The psalm then reads, "The Lord tests the righteous." So it seems like David believed that this was a test of his faith coming from the Lord, and that it was his duty to face this trouble head on and to remain in place. He then called on God to deliver him from his enemies, saying, "Let him rain fiery coals, burning sulfur, and a scorching wind on the wicked." So even though David is being advised to run away from his enemies, in these troubling times, David is proclaiming to hold his ground in the strength of the Lord. David responds to fear with faith. Even when the foundations are shaking, David remembers that God is in control, that God's power is not diminished by any turn of events, that God does not shield from any difficult circumstances. Nothing happens without his knowledge and permission.